back to another video here on All Things Teaching with Pena. My name is Pena, here to give you guys everything teaching related. So what are we doing today? In today's video we'll be talking about lesson planning. So what is lesson planning according to me? According to me, lesson planning is planning the lesson that needs to be taught next, the lesson that follows after the one that you taught. So you have to sit down and you have to plan your lesson. There has to be a date, number of learners, the grade that you're teaching, the topic, the subject, lesson objectives, the curriculum integration if relevant. There also has to be the introduction phase, the teaching and learning phase, the closure phase, and the assessment that you're going to use to assess the learners. So every time I present my lesson, I make sure that I present it in such a way that I accommodate the learners, learning styles, all the learning styles that they have. So I also look at the learners. That's why it's very, very important as a student teacher to make sure that you have enough time to spend with your learners so that you can get to know them, get to know what it is that they are capable of, get to know where it is that they are lacking, their strengths, their weaknesses, their interests, and so forth. Because it's important to know that once you know that, you are able to use that in your lesson planning. You are able to use that in every lesson that you plan or every lesson presentation that you have to do. So I remember a few weeks back, I think it was last week or the week before that, when I presented properties of 3D shapes in mathematics for learners. I made sure to go out of my own comfort zone, and I used a lot of time. It took me a lot of time to plan this lesson because I wanted it to be something different. So I remember before that I presented properties of 2D shapes. So with properties of 2D shapes, I gave the learners different types of shapes and I told them to create a robot of their choice. So then an idea came to mind. Why don't I use this lesson and continue it with properties of 3D objects? So that's exactly what I did. I said, okay, you guys are going to create a robot using recycled materials because we're not trying to spend any money. Use what you have. Okay, look at what you have around you at school, at home, maybe your friends, your neighbors, your family, who knows. So they had the whole weekend to go home to plan what it is that they were going to come with to school on Monday. And then I presented it and I told them, guys, I'm going to divide you into, because there are 20 learners, I said in each group you have to be 4 in each group. So there were 5 groups, 4 in each group. So I said to them, I want you guys to design a robot of your choice. You have to sit down and deliberate what kind of robot do you want it to look like. Are you going to give it a name? What is it going to look like? And so forth and so forth. And I noticed that the learners enjoyed it because that is a different way, for an example, of teaching properties of 3D objects. In every one of my lesson planning, I make sure that I plan ahead. I always make sure that I don't just look at the textbook, look at the CAPS document or the curriculum or the ATP that is given and be like, oh, okay guys, please open your books, read. The activity that follows is your homework or your classwork. No, I look at the topic, I look at how I can teach this lesson in such a way that it will intrigue the learners, it will cause curiosity. Because when I was teaching them properties of 3D objects, or before I taught that lesson, I never told them what they were going to use those recycled materials for. I only told them, go home and give me these particular materials. I listed them out. I need these materials for Monday. Please make sure that you bring them in each of your group. Each and every single one of you must have something to bring to contribute to class. There were some learners that were actually absent, so I made sure that I also accommodated the learners that were absent. I also brought stuff from home as well. So everyone was catered for, and then they came to class and I told them, you guys are going to make a robot. The joy in their faces, because sitting down the whole day being taught, it's not nice. So I wanted them to be active. I wanted them to do something fun, just relax and learn at the same time, play-based learning. That is the teaching strategy that I use the most, play-based learning, because for me it has been very, very effective. Obviously I use it along with teacher-guided teaching strategy, because obviously I need to guide the learners onto how they're going to carry out this task that I have given them. I really use direct instruction, because for me I noticed that is the teaching strategy that is used the most at schools. So I challenged myself to do something different. I challenged myself to just go beyond what is normally taught at schools and to just do something different. It takes a lot of time to plan a lesson. It takes an enormous amount of time because you have to know the topic that you're going to teach. You have to know the amount of learners that you're going to teach, the teaching strategy that you're going to use, the lesson objectives for that particular lesson that you need to teach, how you're going to introduce it, the teaching and learning phase, the closure phase, and how you're going to assess those learners. Are you going to use a direct instruction method? Are you going to use a teacher guided teaching strategy? What teaching strategy are you going to use for that particular topic that you're going to introduce to the learners? The play-based learning teaching strategy doesn't apply to all topics. It only applies to a few topics because some topics literally need to make sure that you sit the learners down and you introduce that topic to them in such a manner that they understand, but then at the same time you can integrate it later on. So for me, I like to mix different teaching strategies because I saw that for me that way it's most effective. And then the following day when I'm doing corrections, that's when I sit down with them and I ask them, what have you learned, so and so and so. That's what I prefer to do, and so far I noticed that it has been very, very effective. So guys, that is lesson planning for me. As an educator, you really need to sit down and do research. I don't know if it's just me, but it's frustrating to see that some educators are not willing to go the extra mile for the learners. And I don't know, it's frustrating for me because first of all, I know we are tired. Teaching learners is exhausting. I'm exhausted as is, but that doesn't mean that when the learners come into my session or my period, or when I am the one presenting, I'm just going to tell them read the activity that follows as classwork, the one below that is homework. No, that's not teaching, because learners can actually do that at home. Learners can actually read on their own at home. They don't, no. But then again, we are not the same. I urge all of you teachers, student teachers, future teachers, those with interest in the education field, when you are presenting your lesson, when you are planning your lesson, please make sure that you have put so much work into it. You've done research on the topic that you are presenting, because the learner's textbook does not have enough information. It only has limited information. So please guys, go and do your research. Look at the topic, do your research. Look at how other educators across the globe are introducing their lessons, are teaching you that topic. Don't just be that educator who's always tired and just wants to sit down and drink tea and eat biscuits and whatever. No, be the educator who goes the extra mile. These are not your kids, but the moment they step into your classroom, the moment they step into your session, they become your children. So you need to take care of them, you need to mold them, you need to nurture them, you need to pave the way for them to go the right way, of course. You need to be there for them, and you need to make sure that you produce quality work that produces nothing but results. Even for those learners that are struggling, make sure that your lesson planning accommodates all learners with multiple backgrounds. It just does not accommodate those who are like on a higher level and those who are in the middle level, but you have to accommodate all of them. High order thinking, middle order thinking, and low order thinking. That is what your lesson planning must encompass of. So it must encompass of everything. You must look at the learner as a whole and then take it from there. From me, Pena, and all things teaching with Pena. See you guys in another video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what it is that you want to hear from my side, from me, and from all things teaching with Pena. I am so excited to hear your thoughts on this topic, because honestly, this topic I can go on with it forever, for days. I can just go on and on and on about it. But you know, guys, some things, they must end somewhere. So today I'm just going to end here. That was my experience. We're going to talk about this lesson planning in other videos as well. but that's just a brief to give you guys a little bit of a hint of how I do things here at All Things Pena. See you guys in another video. Cheers.